Elara was 7, fearless, and endlessly curious. The woods behind her house were more than trees to her. They were her secret world. She explored them like a tiny queen walking through her enchanted territory. To her parents, Arthur and Corinne, the place was nothing more than the strange woods, an old forest that seemed to breathe on windy nights. Quiet and strange, a place adults avoided without ever fully understanding why. The day Elara vanished was unbearably ordinary. It was a clear morning, a morning with soft breeze. She told her mother she would play just by the fence of their house. There were no screams, no broken branches, no sign of panic, only her neon pink backpack, set neatly beside the fence post as though she'd removed it with care before crossing over. That stillness made everything worse. Police came quickly. Search teams swarmed the forest. Helicopters, dogs, volunteers, just to find her. Hours turned into nights, and nights crawled into weeks. The woods revealed nothing. Not a footprint, not a scrap of fabric, not a single clue. Eventually, the search slowed. Statements turned softer by people looking for her. "We're doing our best. We haven't given up." But Arthur and Corinne could see the truth. Everyone else already had, so they kept going alone. Every morning, they entered the trees with maps and flashlights, marking trunks with orange paint, drawing crude grid lines on paper. They learned the forest's habits, where the wind died, where echoes didn't return, where birds never perched. On the 43rd day, Arthur found it. He wasn't following a trail or chasing a hunch. He simply stepped into a clearing that shouldn't have existed. A perfect circle carved out of the forest, the trees bending inward like eaves of a cathedral. The air there felt heavy, thicker, as if it clung to his skin. At the center sat a small wooden chair, and on that chair sat the doll. Not a toy, not a craft, something carved with unsettling precision. It was the size of a 7-year-old child. The wood was dark, almost charred-looking. The grain twisted in unnatural directions. The hair, a stiff, painted blonde that matched Elara's exactly. The glass eyes, cracked down the middle, seemed too human for comfort. And the filthy, torn dress, the same blue and white pattern Elara had worn the day she stepped past the fence. Corinne arrived a moment later. The sound she made wasn't a scream. It was something quieter, more broken. "No," she whispered, stepping back. "No. Someone put this here. Someone knows." Arthur didn't answer. Something else had caught his attention. A sound tiny, faint, like the hush of someone speaking from far underwater. A whisper. He leaned in, pressed his ear to the doll's chest. The wood was icy at first, but beneath it pulsed a steady, soft thump-thump-thump. A heartbeat. Weak, muffled, real. Corinne reached him in seconds. Panic and hope twisted in her voice. "What is it? What is it?" He didn't need to answer. She heard it too when she touched the doll. The heartbeat deepened, almost reacting to her touch. She lifted the doll, holding it like her child, and gasped. "It's heavy," she said. "Too heavy for wood." As she held it, the doll's glass eyes shivered. Then a dark, sticky liquid began sliding down its cheeks. Not tears. Something thicker, resin. Or something worse, dripping in slow, unnatural streams. "Elara," Arthur whispered. The doll's painted mouth shifted. It didn't open, but it moved a little. The red paint bending into an unnaturally wide grin that should have splintered the wood. Then a small, metallic voice spilled out. "Mommy, my legs are stuck," the voice said. Corinne dropped the doll instantly. It hit the wet earth with a hollow thud, and the smile snapped back to its normal painted line. They didn't speak. They didn't breathe. They just grabbed the doll and ran home. They placed it on Elara's bed, the blanket dipping under the unnatural weight. Doctors refused to visit after hearing the story. One said they were unstable. Another suggested collective grief, hallucination, but the heartbeat didn't care about their opinions. At night, the beating grew louder when Arthur or Corinne touched the doll. A faint warmth pulsed beneath the wooden shell. Small movement, tiny shifts of the head. A twitch of fingers began happening more often, always when they weren't watching directly. One night, Arthur couldn't sleep. He sat beside the bed, staring at the doll. "You're still here," he murmured. "I know you're still here." He touched the wooden hand. Slowly, painfully, the wooden fingers curled around his. Then he saw the impossible. The wood on the arm softened, like bark melting in heat. It then peeled back, and underneath glowed pale, living skin. His breath caught. "Elara," he called. But the moment passed. The wood tightened again, swallowing the skin. The arm turning stiff and wooden as before. That was when the truth settled in. The thing in the woods didn't kidnap her. It transformed her, preserved her the only way it understood. It kept her alive in a body that couldn't leave its clearing. The doll never spoke again after that night, but the house was never quiet. The heartbeat continued slow, steady, impossible to ignore. Limbs shifted when the parents weren't looking, and in the darkest hours, when the house was silent and the world outside felt too far away, they heard the worst sound of all. The slow, painful grind of wood scraping against wood. The sound of the painted mouth trying to smile again, trying to call home from inside a body that would never let her go.